I love to cook at home, and having good kitchenware makes all the difference in the world. Not only does good equipment make prep and cooking easier, but it makes it more enjoyable. This is why both Joel and I are huge fans of Made in Cookware. Their wide range of cookware, from pots and pans to knives and flatware and even glassware, are designed to be professional quality for right in your home. Joel is a big fan of their knife sets, and I just upgraded all of our stock pots and saucepans to made in stainless steel ones. This goes along with my many other stainless steel, carbon steel pans that I have. I have over a dozen pieces, and I absolutely swear by Made In's products. Next, I'm getting a set of beer glasses. Yes, beer glasses for the whole podcast crew. Take your home cooking to the next level by upgrading your cookware by going to unitedwedrink.com/madein. That's MADEIN. Find out why pros like Grant Achatz, Sean Brock, Nancy Silverton, and Eric Repair trust Made In. Go to unitedwedrink.com/madein. That's MADEIN, and upgrade your kitchen and cooking today. The opinions and statements in this podcast do not represent those of the host's employers, coworkers, family, or imaginary friends. Now enjoy the show.
Happy hour, more like amateur hour. Welcome to United We Drink.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to a podcast that's about to get much more sad in its timeline. Welcome to United We Drink right here on unitedwedrink.com, as well as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and wherever fine podcasts are found. My name is Mike Urevich, and this is a somber moment for me. We're joined by our two co-hosts. First is someone who is probably not as somber, and he's going to say that it's an honor and a privilege to be here. That's Kevin Abbott.
You can't take my thing every single time. Then I can't say my thing.
That's true. But
anyway, I am here. I am very happy to be here with the both of yous to do what we do so adequately.
Thanks for throwing some Philly slang in there. And also with us is a man who everyone has come to know as our resident curmudgeon and resident Batman. The Batman super fan. Now the Bear stan. He's here, possibly for the last time in a long time. Joel Codner.
Yes, I am definitely a huge fan of The Bear now. I think I'm on my third rewatch. It's just a fucking amazing show. And yes, Mike, this is my last episode for a bit. I've got just other shit I need to really prioritize and focus on. My son started high school today, which is insane, and I'm terrified. But the good news is he said he had a great day, which I can't believe because he has always hated school. And he's like, oh, I already made friends with like a bunch of juniors, and turned out to be a really great day for him. So that's really encouraging because we've been fearing this day for a while.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
And it's great that you come up with such an excuse over that Josh on the last episode caused you to want to quit coming on the show.
You're blaming Josh?
You're blaming Josh, but not saying so.
Oh, okay. I didn't know I was doing that. And when you introduce Kevin, you have to say it's an honor and a white privilege.
Ah, that's true. That's true.
Please don't do that.
If we had like 10 times more listeners than we do, I bet we could have a shirt for honor and a privilege. Because some of those big podcasts, they have merch like that, right? That just say stupid sayings.
First of all, I appreciate being called stupid. Secondly, I'm
I
for
said
just
you're
making.
saying is, not you.
Well, that makes it so much better. I mean, listen, when we had our old podcast, Mike, we had a couple T-shirts made up, right?
Yes.
Remember that? So we
It's
could do
just
that
for
on
you and I.
right, but we could do it on a small scale. Listen, there's only 4 other people that listen to this, so we can get for you and I and 4 other people.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're wearing one of those shirts that your brewery couldn't give away. So yeah,
I have
it'd be the
sleeping
same.
shirts until I die. Pajama shirts. That's what a better way to have said that.
Years
Sleeping
and
shirt.
years ago, in our 20s probably, it's got to be at least 15 years, my brother bought a shirt from tshirthell.com.
Yes.
Yes, it's classic fucking website. I can't believe it still exists. It's like from Internet 1.0. But he had a t-shirt of the Pillsbury Doughboy with a Hitler mustache, and it said white flour. And he wore that with me in a Baja Fresh, and didn't get the best looks from people behind the counter, and I was like, we got to get the fuck out of here.
So, funny story about that. I ordered a lot of T-shirts off of tshirthell.com back in the day, including one that was Obama as it was Antichrist '08. And what I was wearing this shirt for was as a joke that any moron would think that Obama was the Antichrist. It was a joke on the people who think that is a thing. But the amazing thing about that shirt is that people that were aligned with me politically thought it was amazing, and people that were on the opposite side thought it was amazing. Everyone thought I was on their side because, the people who got it were the smarter ones, of course. But I had several run-ins that were very interesting around that. But yeah, that was a long time ago. I no longer would wear such provocative T-shirts. Now everything I wear has either a Barrel of Monks logo on it or something of that nature.
I used to have this has got to be 20 years ago. I used to have a shirt that said, "My parents said I could be anything, so I became an asshole." And the worst part about wearing that shirt in public is that people will walk up to you and read it out loud. And it's like, what do you say to them?
There are people that do that with inoffensive shirts all the time. Like if it has more than 4 words on it and they're interested, they will read it out loud as if it's the only way they can comprehend it and take it all in.
Barrel of Monks Brewing Company, what the fuck is that?
I've had that happen with just brewery T-shirts that I'm wearing. Like, so it just goes, Copper Point Brewing. Really, you are thrown off by this.
One other one that I had on there that was less offensive, at least to anyone who doesn't live in Wyoming. It was just a picture of Wyoming with a frowny face, and it just said, Wyoming. Who cares? And I thought that was just absolutely brilliant.
It's like I've seen a shirt that says "God bless America," except for Utah. Fuck Utah.
All the same lines.
Yeah, I think those were interchangeable. Like you could get any state
you could
wanted.
pretty much any state.
One of my favorite ones on T-shirt Hell was on the front. It said, "There are 2 people fucking" on the back of this T-shirt, and then on the back of the T-shirt it says, "Just kidding, believe in Jesus."
Speaking of Kevin, didn't you have one of like Jesus riding a dinosaur?
That I got from, what was it, Urban Outfitters.
Oh, okay.
And it was something about the fact that it says something about the dinosaurs came before man or existed at the same time of man, but it didn't say Jesus didn't ride dinosaurs. There was some text on that, but that was another shirt that I really enjoyed wearing. And unlike Easter and Christmas and around family and friends that are very religious, it was
Friday
always
night at the coffee district.
Oh yeah, it was a conversation starter. That's what I liked.
Good times. I don't think I ever bought anything directly from T-shirt Hell, but I did buy a bunch from $6 tees. That all sponsors of the show, by the way. We have a lot of T-shirt sponsors for this show. None of them are our own T-shirts. So Joel,
speaking of our T-shirts, real quick, because we might as well plug this since it's been a while. I found this old phone that I had from like 2 years ago and resurrected it, and it had screenshots of everyone's like ecstatic response to the Jacuzzi Mead shirt you designed and put
Yeah.
out, which is still available.
Yes.
It's kind of a play on shower beer. It's like, well, why not go one step further and do Jacuzzi Mead, which is actually kind of disgusting. But that shirt got such great feedback, and nobody bought one.
I think we sold 2. I'll go and check the sales later, but yeah, for the amount of people who said that they would buy one, like I should have fucking shown receipts like right up front for
And
like this is how many we sold.
a couple of which were marketing people for major breweries.
Yeah.
Are,
Yeah,
are you insinuating that the listeners of this podcast are nothing but dirty, rotten liars?
Possible.
possibly. So Joel, it's your last show. Besides talking about T-shirt hell and the bear and the Batman and all of the MCU stuff that got announced in the last 2 weeks, what do you want to talk about for your last episode that maybe kind of sort of is loosely connected to the alcoholic beverage world?
Man, I am really being put on the spot here. I don't know.
Well, why don't we do what are we drinking while Joel
there
thinks
you go.
about that?
Yes, that's like 2 weeks in a row. Yeah, 2 weeks in a row where we just kind of glossed over that part. So thanks for bringing us back.
Listen, I'm here to get us right back on the track, gentlemen.
I'm just drinking straight up lemon polar seltzer.
Not plain. Thank you for being a reasonable person.
But if I could drink tonight, I saw that a place in Chicago had baseball soaked Malort. They had like a big fucking like
What the fuck is that?
I don't know, it was one of those big giant like clear carafe type things on the counter, and it was full of baseballs and full of Malort.
For someone who rails against stupid shit, Joel, you tend to like a lot of stupid shit.
We're all hypocrites about something.
That's fine. I'm just pointing out what we're all thinking. At least what I'm thinking.
But in this case, the stupid shit is like as honest and just out like we're not loading some fucking stupid beer that shouldn't have lactose with lactose and then calling it milk sugar like a bunch of jagoffs. Like it's fucking baseball soaked Malort. It's ridiculous and it's like that's it. Nobody's pretending that it's some kind of noble pursuit.
No, but people are pretending that that is palatable and people should drink it. And takes a lot of imagination to do that.
That's right.
Just
You
like
were the
ducks.
like anti-Malort guy at the bachelor party.
I was the one? I don't think
I'm not. It was split down the middle.
Thank you. Mike and I were on Team Sanity, and you and Phil were on Team Bug Nutty Crazy. Or Cuckoo Banana Pants, which is another way I like to put that.
And people wonder why I have abandonment issues.
I'm having I have a can of our lager, our amber lager from Copper Point. I have a little bit of Hudson Whiskey New York. It's from Hudson Distillery. I've never seen this actual brand from them before. I'm familiar with Hudson as a distillery, but my wife got it for me for our anniversary. We just celebrated 2 years of marriage.
Congrats.
And
Congratulations.
Thank you. Very happy that you guys were at that wedding. And of course, have my can of Liquid Death sparkling as usual. Kev?
Since you said lager, I just want to say that the picture you posted today of lager, I was fucking drooling.
Oh, really?
It took me back to the day I did a triple brew day from 4 a.m. to 2 p.m., left the brewery, went to the mall, got shitty mall Chinese food, and brought it back to Copper Point. And I was like, give me 2 mugs of lager. And I just sat down and fucking went wild. because I definitely earned it that day. So great
Well,
picture.
thank you. I did not even think of it as one of like my better pictures. Like I put a lot of pride and effort into every picture that I take. But I was just like I my computer was literally behind the camera and I was like, "Oh, this is a kind of cool angle. Let me just go get a glass of lager and put it down in front of my camera and boom, bingo bango boomo." Uh, quick little light editing, and I have a post. But thank you.
I mean the beer in I'm looking at it now. The beer in the glass just looks like a fucking like a gem, like an infinity stone.
Yeah, the ruby color really pops on it. Kevin,
Kevin,
what are you?
Oh, sorry, I'm still here. So I am drinking a Spindrift, a grapefruit one to piss Joel off, because I just want to poke him a little bit and give him a chance to go off on a tangent. So I have that, but I also have what is quickly becoming one of my favorite beers from one of my favorite breweries, Gatlin Gold from Gatlin Hall Brewing up in Orlando. And this is a Dortmunder. It is beautiful. It is malty, just a little bit of sweetness. I tried this for the first time when we were up, myself and Ralph, representing Barrel of Monks at the Fruit Punch project from Ellipsis. Tried it for the first time, absolutely loved it. And then when I went up for the Brewers Conference here earlier in the week, it's the one brewery I had to visit. And these guys have right now on draft, at least as of this recording, a Vienna lager, a Dortmunder, a black lager, a rye lager, a Pilsner, I believe, or just an American lager. They've got a Saison, a triple, an Irish stout, which is incredible. I mean, across the board, incredible beers, so well made, well balanced, to style, and it blew my mind. So we're hoping to do some kind of collaboration with them soon. Baker over there is the person I've met a couple times and had many conversations with, and showed us around the brewery, my wife and I, when we were up on Monday. And yeah, Gatlin Gold, guys, Dortmunder, one of my favorite styles of beer, period. I love this style and I'm so happy. These guys produce this, I believe, year round. At least it's one of the two cans that were available, or one of the two or three cans that were available in their tap room. And I actually left a couple cans at the brewery, Joel, so that you could try it at some point. Because I
oh
wanted you to
nice.
get your thought on it. But yeah, if you live in that area, in the Orlando area, and you haven't checked these guys out yet, please do. They're incredible.
I'm
That
stoked. But
yeah, that lineup sounds ridiculous. I mean, put a fucking brown ale in there somewhere, and I'll sleep there.
And
yeah,
listen, they had two hazies, they had a couple pastry stouts, but you know, I had one of the hazy IPAs. It was very good, but it wasn't the feature to me, because why would I try a paste? What right thinking individual would try a pastry stout if you have the option of a Dortmunder? You'd have to be sick in the head in order to make that decision. No matter how good the pastry stout is, it cannot compete with a perfectly made lager. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm always excited when I find breweries that are doing those kind of classic styles and doing them really well. I will always have to give Mike's Brewery Copper Point a shout out for that, for doing the Pilsner, doing the Amber Lager, doing all those beers so well and to style. And people like myself just really appreciate it.
it you were telling me about this beer and this brewery before we went on air, before Joel hopped on the call, and right now I'm realizing like that this reminds me of when people talk about Zillicoa in North Carolina,
Oh yeah,
who are like considered like the Brewers Brewery in the whole Asheville scene, like tons of lagers, saisons, uh, traditional styles, all done very well, and on this like beautiful property there on a river. And I remember Joel went up like what, a year, 2 years ago, and he brought me back a couple bottles of some of their beers in the little stubby bottles. It was like a Keller Pills and a
yeah.
Helles,
Yeah,
and they
that was like the week after I started at Barrel of Monks. It was December 2020.
those beers were fucking fantastic, and they're
Yeah.
like on my bucket list of breweries that I want to go to. I was a few weeks ago at a baby shower talking to a person I'd never met before who was like, "Oh, you brought the beer for the baby shower. Oh, thank you so much. I've had some of your beers before," and started talking to me about having been in Asheville. And she's like, "I don't know if you've ever been to Asheville." I was like, I haven't, but I really want to go for Zillicoa." And she's like, "That was the best brewery I've ever been to." Like, it seemed shocked that I even knew what she knew about this place. But yeah, when I hear of people doing tons of lagers and tons of old world styles, it just makes me so happy. It makes this cold heart a little bit warmer, and I dig that. Also, I'm going back a little bit more. Kevin, Spindrift. Have you had the Arnold Palmer flavor?
I have not. I've heard tell of it, but never have I seen it for me to
Oh,
purchase.
good. Got it
Yeah.
from Trader Joe's. It is
Hmm.
so good. I love it.
Joel's just seething right now.
Do
Just
it.
seething. He may actually quit the podcast in the middle of this show
Do it.
and
I
Do
am
it.
just
known for Irish goodbyes.
abandon ship.
Apologies to our Irish fan base if that's somehow an offensive term this week.
All right, Joel.
I'll
So
ask Brad.
you've you've had some time to think about it. What are we talking about on your last episode?
Did we decide something before the show and you're trying to tease me toward it? Because I don't fucking
No, no,
remember.
I really don't.
Okay.
I am putting you on
Um
the spot.
shit, I don't know.
Well, let's talk about uh you're 10
Great
years
content.
into this fucking ride.
Yeah.
Um is if it's a ride. Um what where are you at? Where's your head at? What do you feel on this interest? I don't know. You don't have to be 100% honest, but like let's let's talk about it some. I mean, you've always been a pretty outspoken dude about shit going on in the industry.
I know, and there's I was feeling today like I wished I wasn't because I had posted a thread about something and even though I didn't feel like I was necessarily wrong, I just felt dirty afterwards. You know what I mean? Like I just I just feel like yeah, I'm fucking telling it, sometimes and then I'll sit back and go all the people I respect in beer Twitter and in the beer industry who are on this fucking hellscape of an app who live halfway across the country and are a part of these amazing progressive quality minded the beer communities that actually embody what everyone thinks it is and is supposed to be uh, when I'll feel like those people would never have just shit all over the screen like I just had. You know what I mean? And there are just moments like that where I feel you know, like I'm not good for beer.
I think that you're wrong on that, but I also think that there's always that grass is greener fucking look on things, man. I know that you look at the Chicago beer scene uh in such high regard, and rightfully so to a certain extent, with some of the brewers and breweries and beers that are coming out of that city that are highly regarded, like your Half Acre, Revolution, Off Color, Metropolitan, Dovetail, just listing off fucking names of these breweries that are like brewers breweries to a certain extent. But there's shitheads in every fucking community. I'm sure that like you sit down and you talk to John from Off Color and he can tell you about tons of that bullshit going on in the industry in Chicago. But maybe they're just better suited at talking about the positive than the negative, or there's just so many more of them that it works out in that favor. I mean, Chicago's like one of the largest cities in the country, and when you take like the South Florida metro area, like you take these tri-county area, we're still not even in the top 10, but it's eh, I get what you think on this industry down here a lot of times. I mean, believe me, I'm with you on a lot of it. But I mean, everyone has their fucking issues, and whether or not some harp on it as much, or uh, it's just easier to forget about them when they're concerned with their own shit, or they're just concerning themselves and hyping up the ones who are doing good.
I'm always happy to hear. I've always believed in, the classic term of like speaking truth to power, right? If you have a opinion that is backed up by some kind of professional experience, expertise, and evidence, then you have a forum, and you could be a creative forum just like this podcast, which is not necessarily going out to millions and millions of people, but definitely something that we're passionate about. And there's enough people that listen to us that can decide whether or not the kind of things that we're saying are valid. And if you're going to do that on social media or what have you, the people that don't want to listen don't have to listen. But the joy in that is being able to find some like minds that agree with your take on the industry, agree with my take on the industry. And there's definitely going to be a lot of people who don't, and they can stay the fuck away.
Well, you got to tell them that, because it seems like no matter what you say now, it's like people will go out of their way to internalize it and personalize it and, stretch, like, not even really understand what you were trying to communicate. It's so hard to explain. Like, I saw the comedian Whitney Cummings post. She said something like, "Oh, if this such and such joke doesn't get me canceled, I don't know what will," or something along those lines. And then somebody who didn't like that or her um, retweeted her and said, you can tell how, like, getting canceled is a career move, not an actual thing. Like, they were trying to twist. And it's like, no, she was making a joke again about her joke. Like, stop taking everything 100% fucking seriously. Like, no one who's famous and has, millions of dollars in projects on the line actually wants to deal with that shit. It's not a fucking career move. So, like, you just see people, they just take everything so literally, so seriously. I mean, Mike, I texted you and Tim. I can't even say the tweet, but the screenshot of it where someone was like, "Man, back in the day, you could fucking say whatever you wanted on Twitter, and now you can't even call like a something something." And it was fucking hilarious because it was true. I mean, Twitter used to be the Wild West now.
Yeah.
I can't. It's like, did you ever go to the old website Style Project?
No.
I think it's like porn now, but there used to be this. It was Stile, and I think it even has its own Wikipedia entry. But it was this early 2000s website that had like all the darkest shit imaginable, like also crazy humor, like, videos you would see on E-Bombs World of guys shooting bottle rockets out of their ass. But there would also be like the Iraqi beheading videos and shit like that. I mean, it's like the website where I saw every worst thing the fucking internet had to offer. And that's what Twitter felt like in the early days.
Yeah.
Is that a good thing?
I don't know. I mean,
Is
it was
is
what
it a
it
good thing
was
or a
in
bad
it.
thing?
it was what it was in its time. You know, like you couldn't have 2009 Twitter in 2022 Twitter. It would be fucking the screen would literally catch fire.
Oh, I just tried to. Oh, my screen's on fire. I just tried to do it. I just tried to do it. Tried to be a mixologist of social media. Uh, no, I get what you mean, and I was actually talking to a friend of the show, Tim Johnson, the other day. It's funny. Tim is someone who I met on Twitter. Still have never met in person. Like we've been on podcasts together, fundraisers together. Like him, and I have like a a text message going on of just bullshit in the industry that we always just screenshot people's bullshit and send to one another. And I was saying to him, like, as crazy as Twitter is, it's how I met you, Joel. Um, like, I've came across this dude who liked beer and was learning about beer and making crazy jokes, and oh shit, he lives in Boca and he's going to these beer meetups. Let me follow him and get to know him and meet him. I mean, for whatever it's worth that it has turned into today. I mean, like you can say it about practic. I mean, I've been saying it about fucking Instagram on Twitter for a while. How fucking big of a shell that bullshit is anymore. But like, I can still be fond of what it was to me at that time, and that's what you're kind of doing with it. And this site that I refuse to go to, the actual site, because the Wikipedia entry does make it seem like there's some bad shit on it now. Cool. Good talk. Thanks guys for joining.
You know what else is gone? Rotten.com. Did you ever go there?
Mm-mm.
That was like, oh, new photos of dead bodies in Singapore, you know, like just
That's not my bag, baby.
it had the photos of Chris Farley dead in his apartment in Chicago.
I didn't join the internet until 2017, so I have no idea what any of you guys are talking about.
E-Bombs World. That's where it was at. Oh, and Homestar Runner.
I
The fact
never
that,
fucked with that. I don't.
but you do know what it is, right?
I have an image in my
Kinda.
mind of like this little cartoonish logo or something.
Yeah. It's just fun flash cartoons, and that I had to I had to explain it. I feel so bad for Jason. Hi Jason. He's my coworker at Copperpoint, and he he and I like a lot of the same things, but he's like 12 years younger than me. So there'll be a thing that I'll bring up like Homestar Runner, and he's like, I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. And I'm like, oh, okay, sorry. I'll go back to laughing at it in my own head. Like,
I'm older than you, and I still have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
okay, look it up. It's fun. It's a fun rabbit hole.
Okay.
Joel,
Yes.
what rabbit holes are you going down? Because I know that you like to go down them.
Yes. Shit. What was the one I? Oh. Past couple weeks I've gone down a like learning about finance rabbit hole. I read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, the book The Psychology of Money, and this is another thing I was talking about today. You know, like just going down that rabbit hole, watching YouTube videos, watching investors and all these white collar criminals, basically. You know, all these billionaires, because you know, at first it seems fun on social media, like when everyone's like dunking, you know, quote unquote, dunking on billionaires, like shitting on Elon Musk and shitting on Bill Gates and you know whoever else, and it just started to feel like such a small dick move, like you know, like these people are just inherently evil because they've reached some level of success, and sure, like they need to pay their taxes and pay their fair share and everything, but like when you watch them talk about like why rich people are rich and poor people aren't. Like they basically like going through all this totally like either confirmed or like I learned that like number one, these people do not give a fuck about you or anyone else. Number two, they're happy to pay no taxes. And number three, like if you're poor, like they think it's not because of any circumstances you were born into, any educational system you had to go through, any sort of family issues, health, and it's all about you're just stupid. And the only point to that, like that I can agree with, is that it's a difference of financial knowledge. Like if you or I or Kevin, oh sorry, I don't know why I was talking directly to you, Mike, but you answered the question. Anyway, if either of you guys had a chance to pay no taxes, like if you went to fucking H&R Block and they're like, hey, you know, we can write off some of these things and you're actually not paying any tax this year, like you would fucking be like, hell yeah. You might feel a little weird, like, well, I'm not, you know, because you're good people. You'd be like, you know,
This podcast is not sponsored by H&R Block.
but it's actually QuickBooks. No, it just,
yes.
I'm sure you guys would be like, well, you know, I want to do my fair share and pay toward, you know, my community and all that and all that. But like these fucking people, they're like, yeah, I know more loopholes. I know how to move money around. So that's why I don't pay any taxes. Ha ha ha.
Well,
And it's like, it's fucking evil, but it's also smart.
They don't know it. They have people who know it. They have the money to buy services of people who know what they're doing to perpetuate the wealth that they have.
But they also learn it. I mean, they instruct these people to do these things.
Well, I mean, that might be the case, but I mean, I would imagine that someone with $1 billion or $500,000 or $5 million then goes, I have an accountant and I have a tax attorney and I have a person that does this, that, and the other, and they're the ones that help to perpetuate my wealth and grow it even more. That would be my anticipation. I mean, listen, the one thing that, you know, talking about the billionaire aspect of things, and every single person that has a strong viewpoint for or against them is oversimplified, because people aren't just one thing. People that are ultra wealthy are not evil, 100% evil, terrible human beings, are also not amazing, wonderful philanthropists that make the world go around and make butterflies spawn. They're just human beings that are complex. But the one thing that it always comes back to is that no one's fortune and no one's wealth is built by them alone. It's built by infrastructure that they don't pay for, especially if they're not paying their taxes. It's built on the backs of people who are taking lower wages. Everyone's success is built on other people. There's no such thing as a self-made man. There never has been, and there never will be. There are opportunities and people take advantage of them, and especially when you start off pretty well off in the first place, especially family-wise. That's the thing that always gets me. When you were talking about like the mentality of that and the billionaires and how people look at them, I've had many conversations recently of people just thinking, well, you know, if you're poor, you just haven't worked hard enough. Listen,
you haven't pulled yourself up by the bootstraps enough.
I come from a family of sparse means in many certain situations, and I can tell you there's several people that they worked their asses off. They just didn't have the tools. Yeah. Maybe mentally, maybe in socially, maybe in different ways. There's no way in hell that several people in my family were going to be a billionaire. Let's just put it that way.
You don't have to beat around the bush. I know that you're talking about me.
Well, we are not family, I guess, in the specific sense, but yes, Mike, I was talking about you. I was just trying to couch that to make you feel better. The funny thing is, Joel, that when you started talking about these books and things of that nature, and when you first started talking about it, I thought you were going down this like role of like, man, these people they drive our society, and they can do no wrong. You know, everyone wants to shit on them, but they're the greatest
Oh,
people in
no,
the
no.
world. And then you kind of rounded it off in a different way. I was like, wow, we're going into some different territory.
I mean, I got into this stuff a little bit 2 years ago when I made my first investment ever. Like, I bought some stock in two different psychedelic biotech companies because I had a great experience taking mushrooms once, and it wasn't even like a regular dose or anything. It was just one piece. But it must have been fucking potent because for a very brief time, I was the person I always wished I could be. That everything internally was fine. And like I was at this miserable pool party slash barbecue at my in-laws community pool. So like everyone from their neighborhood was there, and they were playing like fucking Getting
Your
Jiggy with It by
sister-in-law was
Will.
there?
What's that?
Your sister-in-law was there?
I don't remember.
I just want to
Um,
set it up for the people who, on Twitter that follow
yeah.
your stories about that. They really get off on knowing if your sister-in-law is at events.
I know they reference her in just about every reply I get now. It doesn't even have anything to do with it. But no, I had this, great experience. Like I was miserable, and like all of a sudden it just kicked in, and I shot up out of the seat. Like I was just kind of hiding in the corner, and I shot up out of my seat, and I'm like, kids, we're going in the pool. And I grabbed them, and I went in the pool, and we were splashing around, and I was like being dad, and I was present, and it was fucking amazing. And I for that brief whatever amount of time it was, that was like everything. Like that was like that did what like antidepressants and all kinds of other shit could never do, and I've never experienced anything like that again. So um I just when I heard these companies were doing like clinical trials and everything, I was like, well, I want to see, I set up an account to like, just trade on my own. I wasn't going to get a fucking broker. I don't have that kind of money or anything. But just bought some shares of these two companies, and the whole sector just like really started taking off because of, some prominent people investing in some of them. And, it started and like in the past 2 years, there's been tons and tons of papers and studies and everything about how well it affects mental health, and knowing the mental health crisis that is upon us because of this fucking pandemic and everything that preceded it, when fuckface got elected. I feel like the whole country is ready to snap, and it feels like if I just felt like if everybody could get their hands on these things, that we'd probably be a lot better off as a country. People would be more empathetic, they'd be more present, less egotistical. So, that stuff, was doing okay, and then fucking pandemic and everything took a shit, but it's coming back now, and the clinical trials are moving along better. So the whole sector is good and everything, but um it just there were days where I'd be like just fucking around, trading penny stocks, and I'd make like a day's pay in 30 minutes on my phone. And so like that really I was like, why was I never interested in any of this kind of shit before? And so but like I get where a lot of these finance people are coming from, but like I still can't go along with the notion of like, yeah, I'm just never going to pay taxes, and it's because I'm smarter than you, and a lot of the other like evil shit that because I think it's just a lack of perspective. Like they don't understand what certain people go through. They don't understand that, you know, some people work 2 3 jobs their entire lives and still can't save anything. Some people are just so utterly fucked from student loans that they didn't really know what they were getting into, or uh, cancer debt, all that shit. So I started, going down that rabbit hole. I started wondering to myself, like, what if I could like learn all this shit, and because my thinking is like, dunking on billionaires isn't going to change anything on Twitter. Like, you're not helping anything. These people are never going to pay their taxes. They're never going to do the right thing. They're always going to look out for themselves and each other. So why not just exploit the same system they're exploiting for your own benefit? You don't have to hurt other people to do it, and you certainly can't on the scale that you're on. Like, we're all not fucking millionaire. I would bet none of us are 100,000-aires. But like all these things are open to us too. So I feel like people would be wiser to use their time learning how this shit works and using it to their own advantage, because nobody really knows about money. Nobody understands assets, liabilities, savings, the stock market. Nobody knows. I mean, they just think it exists and it's for other people and for, rich people, but anybody can get into it. And like I was wondering to myself, like, what if I can keep my values but also exploit this shit? Like, would I kind of like be right there in the fucking zone?
I mean, I feel like I was one of the people who kind of exploited some of the crypto stuff at its height, because like the the whole base of a lot of this crypto, especially like Bitcoin and Ethereum, is to be an alternate currency, a way of paying for things, exchanging goods, and or payments for goods and services, using those as payment. They weren't intended on being treated like stocks, which is basically what a ton of these became. And especially like shit coins and meme coins and stuff like that. And I made some money off of treating them like such, even though like I want to believe in them as what they were intended. I'm all for like a decentralized sort of currency, but like we're just seeing like with so many banks like taking on cryptocurrencies, like the decentralized part of this has become a joke. And I have very small amounts of crypto still in any wallets. Like I've cashed out of probably 98% of my crypto, and came out on the positive on practically all of it. At least when I take my sum of what I put in, I came out well. I'm not a fucking millionaire. I'm not 100,000-aire on it. I don't even know if I reached $1,000 of profit, but like I made some money. I bought a fucking cam. I put a bunch of that I made off of Shiba Inu into buying a camera, like upgrading my camera, and I'm fucking happy with that. But yeah, like you've told me about a bunch of this stuff, Joel, and it fucking goes over my head. It makes me feel like I'm just one of the sometimes one of those dumb people who's just like, yeah, I'm just not smart enough to know how to exploit that to my being. And um it's it is fucking crazy how all it takes is probably some attention for a long period of time, comprehension skills, and yeah, you can get away with some of that dumb shit.
Guys, I hate to change the subject here, but I do have an update on the Irish goodbye. I reached out to my brother-in-law, Bradley Grace, who was born in Ireland. Okay, he's a first generation American, and was his response, because I asked him, "Is an Irish goodbye an offensive term?" And he said, personally, he is not offended by the term, but as far as he knows, it's an idiom that came from when the Irish immigrants were flooding the U.S. cities. It plays into the drunken Irish stereotype and generally implies someone not possessing social graces and are people that are considered brutish or dumb, basically not understanding that you have to say goodbye, because that could be kind of offensive, guys. He also says that it may be associated with the Irish potato famine, where people were kind of like disappeared to never be seen again. And so a couple different ways that could be taken in an offensive way towards the Irish. So Joel, you're a bigot, and I'm just glad that I'm not going to have to share this podcast with you for very much longer.
So in short, Brad said it's gonna rain. Um and no, I fuck up.
For me, it's the social skills. I mean,
So now let's go back to Brad and let's ask him how he feels about his band being named Poison the Well,
Hey,
and if that's
Brad, listen.
offensive.
Wait, first of all, don't you put this on Brad. I asked him, I said, we are recording this podcast and I want the truth. I want to know what's going on. And I want to go to somebody who may have some information. And he provided said information saying that he was not personally offended by it, but this is how someone might be offended by it. So I
Brad,
was
you're
just
an Irish fella. What do
yeah,
you think?
yeah. I mean, listen, he's someone that might have some context, and he gave me really good. He took the time. I'm sure he was in the middle of dinner, or maybe watching his preferred show on Netflix, and he took the time to give us that information. I think we should appreciate that.
Show is
And
not sponsored by Netflix.
and by the way, Joel, you're not a bigot. That was done for comic effect. It wasn't funny, but it was done for comic effect.
If only the people on Twitter that have called him that would
yeah.
say the same thing afterwards.
Well, since Kevin took a couple steps back, I also want to give you an update, Mike, on my cryptocurrency. Somehow, my ass coin has doubled in the past couple weeks. I have right now. Ass coin is worth 0.000000007419 cents. And the
Sweet.
huh?
Sweet.
Yeah, so the only reason why I have $3.35 worth is because I have billions of ass coin. So all
How
we
much
need
did
is
you
ass coin to
invest
get to
into it?
$1, baby.
I guess we're all just disclosing this. So I did buy some crypto when you guys were talking about it because I didn't want to be the only person who didn't become a billionaire. And I put, a couple $100 in there, and I have about $100 worth at this point. So I'm just waiting for this market to rebound at some point. Maybe I'm guessing maybe 2037. We'll get to a point where I can cash out and break even.
I saw one of Joel's faves, not crypto, but MindMed was up today.
12%.
Yeah. I still have my stock in that I bought when it went public and then immediately tanked. So holding out hope on that one.
I'm excited for my other one, Revive Therapeutics, because even though they're working on psychedelic medicine, they're also trying to repurpose a drug that's been around for decades for COVID use. And there should be an update on their trials next month sometime.
I feel like I am with two geniuses of the stock market and finances. I stick with my Roth IRA. Thank you very much. And then I have, hundreds of dollars under my mattress. So I feel like I'm good.
Can you ask Brad what he thinks about the IRA?
Oh shit.
Oh Jesus.
You brought it up.
We just opened up a can of bees. We can't. Sorry, guys.
Oh, sweet. We can get canceled after with this episode then.
Here's a great subtle segue. My other rabbit hole that I was on today while I was loading bottles on the bottling line, just fucking clips of two national treasures in the acting world, Dabney Coleman and Louis Gossett Jr., both of whom are like 90-something years old, and they just fucking kill it in any scene they're ever in. I don't know why I thought of them. And it was so weird because at the end of the day, Ralph had an officer and a gentleman reference. And I was like, that's so fucking weird. I was just watching clips of that shit earlier.
Was Ralph born when that movie came out?
I don't even think so. But it was like that fucking never mind. Brain fart. Carry on.
I would wager a fair amount of money that people tuning into this episode did not imagine they would hear a critique of the term Irish goodbye, tons of financial information, and a name drop of Louis Gossett Jr. and Dabney Coleman. If you had all 4 of those on your bingo card, you fucking won.
I'm,
We're
I'm gonna
you know we
let someone in on this as insider information, inside trading, so that they get their bingo card fill. What they win, I don't fucking know. Um, so let's bring this back to alcohol a little bit, or lack thereof. So Joel, it's no surprise, or not no surprise. It's no secret. Sorry, that's the correct term. I don't know why I said surprise. You have not been drinking for at least regularly for a little while. I know that you had some on the last episode, but for you had one of the
oh, the
brewery
brewery.
beers, yeah. But uh, episodes before that, you had not been drinking, and then just in general through life, you had been kind of taking a break. Um, how do you feel with taking a break from that physically, mentally? Is this something that you want to continue on, or is this something that you're just kind of doing as a refresh, and just observe and maybe hone back the regularity of it? What's all going on with that in your life?
Well, I think I mentioned it on an episode a couple of months ago when it started that I had just used alcohol way too much one night as a coping mechanism for an event, a family gathering that I had to deal with that I did not want to. And I was dreading it for days. And then when I finally got there, I just got shithoused on Jameson. And I would say I behaved in a manner that I wouldn't like to again. Didn't really do anything bad, didn't harm anything or anyone or any of that, didn't drive. Um, but I just fucking woke up home the next day with no memory of anything. And that fucking freaked me out. I don't like that because I can remember everything that happened on my bachelor party like 18 years ago. And I was even worse off then. So I don't know how the fuck it was just freaky to me, and I just really wanted to take a break. I had some on the vacation that I took in late June. Um, I fortunately Heineken 0.0 is pretty much everywhere at this point, so I'm always ordering that because like I just feel that pressure when I'm out. Like I gotta order something. I gotta, because my wife, she drinks wine pretty much with every dinner and every social event. So I just kind of always feel like, it's that goddamn social pressure. So I'll do, if I can have a non-alcoholic beer that tastes like beer, great. Like I feel like I'm not missing out at all. And I'll have baby sips here and there when I'm recording videos with Kevin at the brewery, or if we're trying things that we're making. It's not like one of those situations where like, oh my god, if it touches my lips, I'm gonna fucking burn everything down. It's not a Frank the Tank scenario, but yeah, I mean, it just honestly, I was driving home today, and for some reason, I don't know why, I just have weird thoughts, and I just imagine like being like really drunk, like really, really drunk, and I got physically nauseous. Like at the thought of me stumbling around and blurred vision and all that, I got physically nauseous just thinking about it. It was really weird. And it's just one of those things. I mean, I can't wait to try that Dortmunder Kevin was talking about earlier. Like your picture of the lager had me so thirsty for one, and that's when I texted you about Oktoberfest if you guys were doing the Stein hoisting contest because I want to retain my title. Uh, but yeah, I mean it's a break for now, but I'm not against having one here or there. I had two at a sushi place a couple weeks ago. They were light Asian lagers. Um, and
Aaron?
I hated the buzz afterward. I really did, but enjoyed it while I was having it. I had a margarita Mexican food the other night. Just had one. Um, there's pretty much if I do partake, like there's no chance in hell I'm gonna overdo it.
So you would say physically you feel good from this break, or at least toning down like considerably of it?
I don't know, because there's a lot of other factors. Like I have to supplement testosterone now, which also helps with focus and fog and energy and all those things. So like there's no control, like I'm also eating better and I'm a brewer in the fucking Florida summer. So like I'm hot and sweaty and miserable, but I'm also like perspiring and burning calories. So I honestly don't know how it's affecting me or not affecting me. I mean, I don't know if I feel any clearer because of it or just because of everything else along with it.
Well, when you make a lot of different changes in your life at the same time, I mean, to bring this back to brewing, if you make a lot of changes in a recipe at the same time, you don't know which are the things that actually led to the thing that you got. But everything you're describing, those are all things that are going to make you feel better.
Yeah.
I love making beer. Not that I've made a beer in a long time. I haven't. I love being around the making of beer. I love being in the brewing industry and being so proud of the beer that we make. But there is no doubt that what we make is poison and people should be drinking it in moderation. I mean,
Yeah.
that's reality. If you drink 2 beers a day every day, your doctor will say, make it 1. And if you drink 1 beer every day, your doctor will say, make it a half, right? That's the reality of alcohol. And reducing that intake and being more responsible with it is nothing but good and will have nothing but good health repercussions for yourself, combined with all the other things that you're doing. And it's tough to do. It really is. The social pressures to do these things is immense. I had to quit drinking for a while. I had a DUI many years ago. And I remember going to Mike Yurevich's house and bringing bucklers and saying, well, these are mine for me to drink. And I remember people going like, oh, let me try one of those. And I was like, fuck you. I have to drink all those because I'm going to be here for several hours and I need to be drinking with you. And if every one of you fuckers tries one, I'm going to have 2. And that's not fair. Then I'm going to drink water? That's not cool. But I can.
You brought some good skirt steak.
Well, yeah, I always bring some good skirt steak. I mean, that's not alcoholic.
So, Joel, this is your
At this point, this is a counseling session with Dr. Yurevich.
I don't know. The last time a co-host left the show, we kind of did an interview of Phil. I said his name. There, I did it. But we've already done that with Joel on this show. I think it was before you came onto the show, Kevin. We did a kind of interview of Joel and this is your life type of thing. So I don't know. I'm trying to go off of stuff that I know that he and I have talked about a little bit personally, stuff that I've seen him talk about on Twitter, and maybe stuff that he hasn't talked about, and just try to peel back the curtain a little bit for maybe selfishly myself. But I know that there's a lot of people who listen to this show who really care about Joel, and I am partially a little bit concerned that our listenership might tank after Joel leaves the show because he is probably the most popular of the 3 hosts of us, even though like he doesn't really promote that he's on the show very often. But I mean, this guy has tons of people who will go to bat for him whenever on Twitter. And I mean, before he nuked his like one original account, and like Joel had fucking tens of thousands of followers.
No,
You were never over 10,000 followers?
no, I think I was close to 4, maybe.
Really? Okay.
Oh, I.
In that case, Joel, get the fuck out.
It's like Jack Burton said. Sooner or later, I rub everybody the wrong way.
And that was Paul Feig. So congratulations.
That's a deep cut.
I've I've been rewatching Arrested Development and getting
Good
into,
for you.
but I've been rewatching the Netflix ones. So season 4 I didn't like, and I apparently they recut it to be more episodic as opposed to the way they originally did it. And now we're into season 5, which I never watched because I hated season 4 so much. But Andy Richter being on season 4
That
and knowing
motherfucker.
that fucker came after you on Twitter, I'm just like, oh,
Andy Richter came after you on Twitter?
Does Kevin
Yep.
know about this
I don't
situation?
know. I don't know.
I just asked a question. I wasn't doing it to lead you. It was genuine.
I guess we can give the Cliff Notes version, and this might be a good note to end on, knowing me. Years ago, when the Ghostbusters remake was being talked about and promoted, there was obviously the whole like backlash from incels before they were ever even called incels. I think this was like what, like 2016, 2015, something like that. Anyway, when they were doing the
2014,
The old days.
yeah, when they were doing the all female Ghostbusters, I don't know if I clarified that earlier, but you had that whole incel contingent freaking out, like girls, and you know what all that bullshit they spew. But
Douchebags.
my issue with the movie was we just didn't need it. I just felt like it was a cash grab. It was just kind of a cynical, and it was really at the height of all the like gender swapping in movies, and like there wasn't a lot of gender swapping because of like representation or being a fresh take on anything. They were just like, no, we're gonna remake every movie, and we're just gonna make whoever had a penis not have a penis now, and that's the premise. And it's like, well, that doesn't always work. And I love movies like fucking Bridesmaids. Like there are some great female comedians out there, but I just this whole Ghostbusters thing just didn't feel right, and it didn't even look good, and I just felt like it was doing such a disservice to a fucking beloved franchise. Like I don't even like the goddamn cartoon. Like why the fuck is Egon a blonde? Like where did that come from?
There is no franchise, Joel. There was one good movie. That
Fuck
was
you.
it.
Ghostbusters 2 is great, and that has
I
Bobby
will agree
Brown.
with Joel.
Ghostbusters 2 has Bobby Brown. All right. Now,
Among the problems.
Now, to further shred my credibility here, I'm also going to say that I prefer Caddyshack 2. Oh, and I love candy corn. So this is when everyone's just throwing their phone at the wall.
All the reasons to kick this motherfucker out of our podcast, Mike.
Oh, I just had an idea. Candy corn Malort.
See?
Anyway, back to the Ghostbusters story.
You're welcome, my lord.
So one night, having dinner with the family, and we turn on the original Ghostbusters. The kids were much younger, still probably under 10 years old each. And I decided I'm going to show them the original Ghostbusters tonight. So I'm a huge movie trivia dork. So I noticed that the actress who plays the librarian at the beginning of Ghostbusters, she's literally the first person you see in this entire franchise. She also played the mother of Ray Finkel in the movie Ace Ventura. And her famous line in that movie is, Dan Marino should die of gonorrhea in rotten hell. So I tweet something along the lines of showing my kids the original Ghostbusters tonight. And I pointed out the whole, the actress thing that I just mentioned. And then I said, Paul Feig, the director of the new Ghostbusters. I said Paul Feig should die of gonorrhea and rot in hell. So apparently, Paul Feig and his 1.2 million followers saw this, and because I'm pretty sure I tagged him.
Well, here's the
Uh,
thing. Paul Feig saw that and
Right.
put it out to his 1.2 million followers.
Yeah, he retweeted it saying, he retweeted it saying something like,
This man has children.
yeah,
Like,
he goes, I should die of gonorrhea. I should die, as if I was serious. He didn't get the reference I was making in the thing, and took the joke way too seriously, and it's a bad joke. But anyway, he retweeted that saying like, I should die, and you have children. So like, and I fucking tweeted that like right before I put my kids to bed or something. No, I tweeted it. I put my phone down because I'm like, I'm gonna enjoy this movie with the kids. I put my phone away, turned it off, and then tucked them into bed. And then sometimes I would like lay in my kids' room because they wanted me there to fall asleep. This is when they were like really young, so I'd just be kind of laying there on the floor next to their bed. And while I'm waiting for my son to fall asleep, I pull out my phone and I look at it, and I've got like 10,000 replies. Like my fucking notifications do not stop. And this was when like I had the app and like the fucking actual, I was getting actual notifications. And I would just sit there and swipe down to refresh, and there'd be 5 more and 10 more and 15 more and 7 more, and it just wouldn't fucking stop. And I was like, holy shit. And I think I might have replied and said something, I might have even doubled down like a real asshole. But then fucking Andy Richter, who I guess is friends with him, he fucking retweets me and says like, thanks for letting me know who to block before I ever follow them or some shit like that. So he fucking attacked me. And yeah, I ended up I might have replied to a few people, and then it was just like the notifications were out of control, and I did shut down the account temporarily until it died off. But I'm telling you, like, I would go onto another account and just search my username, and people would still be shitting on me even though I was gone. That lasted fucking days.
so the
Wow.
too long didn't read was don't fuck with Paul Feig.
Apparently not. The only thing I got out of that disturbed me was the fact that you liked Ghostbusters 2.
I like Ghostbusters.
I said
too.
it has Bobby Brown. I mean,
It
That's
is
not why I liked it. I just thought it was
You-
still an enjoyable movie.
You liked it because you were young and it was a time and place.
He is Vigo.
Oh no, there's some good performances. I'm not going to say that there's not some good performances, but it's a pretty the Statue of Liberty walking down the street with a Nintendo controller.
yes.
Pretty fucking
Fucking
stupid.
movie.
It's a movie. It's pretty fucking stupid.
Called Ghostbusters.
I know. It's take the rose-colored glasses off, guys. Watch that movie. If that movie came out today and you're in
My
your
glasses are
40s,
polarized when I'm wearing.
and you're in your 40s, you'd say that was a stupid fucking movie.
I'm going to make a point to watch that movie again in the
That
next.
movie has
Take the nostalgia out. Take the nostalgia out.
Cheech from Cheech and Chong
You know,
is
fucking-
working on the docks.
Hold on.
You mean not Cheech from the Macmillan Report? You not
No,
Cheech from
I
Cheech
wanna-
and Chong? Are you sure?
I want to bring up how Kevin is reverting back to our old wrestling podcast days and shitting on nostalgia like he should. But last episode was defending it with Brewers stealing IP, being like, hey, it's a thing that we like. This motherfucker, just like me, used to fucking shit on WWE for bringing fucking Goldberg in during fucking 2019 when the motherfucker's 55? I don't give a fuck. Like, who... That fucker doesn't need to be in a fucking ring, and he got a fucking concussion. And like, you don't need to bring back these old motherfuckers just to pop a fucking rating just to fucking get buy rates. Like, nostalgia for the sake of nostalgia is fucking dumb. You know it. You've said it plenty of times. And the fact that I wanted to bring that up on the last episode, but someone else was talking and it would have been far too much of a reach to go back to. But now I'm doing it.
Michael, for the most part, I was just trying to come up with different arguments for that idea. I didn't necessarily said I agreed with every one of them. I just tried to come up with different arguments because I wanted to be a little bit different from everybody else in the show. So take a breath. It's okay. I do like the fact that you're referencing a podcast that was dead several years ago that no one has any understanding of. That's cool. That nostalgia I like.
You brought it up earlier.
I did. I'm not, of course.
So in that case, Joel, we've all right. We're a little long on time here. We've talked talked about mushrooms. We've talked about finances. We've talked about Ghostbusters.
Irish
we've
goodbyes.
talked about Irish goodbyes. We've talked about beer a little bit. Booze
Minimally.
more in general. And what? Okay. Let's wrap this up. What do you want to say as let this be Joel? I'm not going to do a last call. I'm just saying this right now. Joel, let's let you have the last call of the episode. You get to say whatever you want. For those of you who might be joining us for the first time here, I'm sorry. And also, thank you for making it this long. But last call is typically a time where we give each other an unspecific amount of time, uninterrupted, unopposed, to talk about whatever. But because this is Joel's last episode, I divert to him wholly for the last call of this episode. Don't make me regret this.
No pressure.
Yeah, none whatsoever. This has to be my mic drop, huh? Man, really putting me on the spot, even though I knew this was coming. God, I want to talk about this commercial. That's awful. Look, you're not going to get anything fucking profound, and that's. I mean, not that you ever have, but I'm not going to get all deep and sentimental and all that shit. Here's something I can recommend, even though I haven't read it yet. I ordered a book today from a former Nickelodeon child actor named Jeanette McCurdy. She was on the show called iCarly that my daughter would watch every once in a while. It was like a whatever show, as those Nickelodeon shows are. But apparently, as many child stars do, she had a bit of a rough childhood, especially working at Nickelodeon. They tried to pay her like $300,000 in hush money to not talk about some of the things she talked about in her book. And the title of her book is I'm Glad My Mom Died. When I saw that, because it was trending in the news today, when I saw that, I smashed the fucking buy now button on Amazon so quickly, and it's out of stock. I guess it's just killing it on the bestseller charts, but not only do I like to read biographical stuff and all of the behind the scenes things that go on in different industries, including entertainment, that's just one of the ballsiest fucking titles I've ever heard. I mean, that's like right there with George Carlin's posthumous special, I Kind of Like It When a Lot of People Die. I just love big, bold fucking statements like that. I feel like very few people have the balls to, say what they're really thinking, especially now. And I'm looking forward to that book.
Let me know how that goes. I saw
Mike's disappointed. He was like, "Oh, I thought you were gonna
no, I'm
do
not
an accepted like thank you for this and love this and
no, I would have been disappointed if you would have said any of that shit."
But I want to be kept in the loop. I would like to ask to come back for various episodes if it's
Of
like
course, yeah.
it's like a topic I feel strongly about or a guest I would really love to talk to. And I deeply want to be involved with the charity episode we do, and I'd like to do that like twice a year. Like maybe we could do one with Josh and Craft Beer Cast in the middle of the year, and our holiday one with Tim and the Bitter Units guys. Um, is that Christmas or
Yeah,
Thanksgiving?
right before Christmas. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Joel, you want to tell people where they can find you if in the meantime, since you won't be here?
I am Joel Brews on Twitter. I am at Barrel of Monks Brewing Company with Kevin over there, making all kinds of cool shit. And we've 3 dark beers in tanks right now. We have
What are they?
Parade of Souls Imperial Stout, uh, the Devil's Decadence Pastry Stout, and the Chocolate Porter.
Nice.
Getting dark at Barrel of Monks.
Is that going to be the event name? No, probably not.
How about throwing shade?
Nice.
Kevin, any plugs?
Just follow Joel.
Jesus Christ.
There's no other place you can. The only place you can find me is here, or go to Barrel Among social media and watch some of our videos about Old Favorite Friday. It's my passion to talk about great beers that people just don't talk about enough anymore.
What do we have this week?
This week, I think I have a 6-pack of Racer 5 from Bear Republic in
saw
the
that.
cooler. Yeah,
Is
I
it
think that's
3
going to
years
be.
old?
What's that?
Is it 3 years old?
It is not. It is relatively
It's
fresh.
5 years old.
It is relatively fresh, and I think that's the beer we're going to do for this week for Old Favorite Friday.
Still in bottles.
What's that?
Still in bottles. I was surprised to see bottles.
Still in bottles. And by the way, because the way that this show works, it would have happened last week for Old Favorite Friday.
Yeah.
Time. The time continuum.
Constantly moving forward.
To be honest, though, I love Racer 5. Like, a fresh Racer 5 is fucking fantastic.
Great beer.
Yeah. You can follow me at Mike Loves Beer on Twitter and Instagram. Please follow me on Instagram. I feel like I'm putting out some good fucking photos. Tooting my own horn there. And I'm at Copperpoint on, I do all the Copperpoint stuff. And so if you follow us there, you'll be happy as well. Maybe, kind of, sort of. The show is at United We Drink on Twitter, at United We Drink Pod on Instagram. We are on all of the major podcast apps. What Be You, whatever one that you like, you can probably find us on there. Subscribe to the show. If you're on Apple Podcasts, please leave us a rating, a review. It really helps us with the algorithm over there that isn't as shitty as Instagram, but it can help us get up in the rankings, and we can then say to Joel, hey, look what you left, motherfucker. And all of that. If you want to support the show financially, you can buy a shirt, button, sticker, or whatever from our store, unitedwedrink.com/store. We also have some brands that we really fucking love over at our website, unitedwedrink.com, such as Maiden, Liquid Death, American Homebrewers Association, Wink. If you want to get some wine, go over there. Oh, Athletic Brewing for the NA part of your life. You need to take a break from some beer, get some, or from booze in general. Go over and buy some NA beer from
Shout out to our friend Tim over there.
I was just going to say, yeah, our friend Tim brewing over there on the big fucking system and putting out some awesome stuff. You buy 2 6-packs and it's free shipping. So go to unitedwedrink.com/athletic and you can buy some Athletic Brewing NA beer and get it shipped right to your fucking door. That's pretty awesome. Other than that, we'll be back in a couple weeks. Sans Joel. That's fucking weird to say. But in the meantime, thank you, everyone. Be cool to one another out there. The world's a fucking weird, crazy place, but we need cool people out there, and appreciate it. Cheers.
Love you guys. Cheers.
Love you guys.